I love Clash Royale, but it has the ability to enrage me harder than a 9-year-old losing in Fortnite. Especially when the opponent is using a cheese deck. No, not that. This. A no-skill, high win percentage deck designed to end you as quickly as possible, and probably cause you to throw your device across the room. So today we're going to be looking at the top 5 most annoying decks in Clash Royale. These are decks that depend on one strong but annoying mechanic, or overpowered cards or synergies. And if you want to see more Supercell content just like this, be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. At number 5 is Goblin Giant Sparky. Facing off against Goblin Giant Sparky is like walking a tightrope. You're up there totally alone trying to get across this tiny wire, all while knowing just below you is a plunge to your certain death if you make even the slightest misstep. That's because the main play from GG Sparky is the classic beatdown strat. Tank in front of a high damage dealer. And if you don't handle that old trash can on wheels just right, it can cost you the match in one play. Dealing with both of these cards at the same time can be a hot mess too. Unless you have E-Wiz, then you're pretty much good to go. But then if you throw Rage into the mix, this easily becomes one of the most annoying decks to face. And for those reasons, that's why Goblin Giant Sparky takes the number 5 spot on our list. At number 4 are freeze decks. This is what it looks like to get caught off guard by freeze decks. Balloon freeze depends on the element of surprise to work well. So you could have an opponent pretty much figured out and be countering them with your cycle when all of a sudden, BAM! They hit you with that secret freeze play and win at the last second. So annoying. And facing off against air decks is obnoxious enough, let alone adding freeze to it. Unfortunately for us, Balloon Freeze isn't the only archetype that you see in game either. Graveyard Freeze is another one of those that will catch you off guard and melt you in seconds if you let it happen to you. And these types of decks make the list because it seems like they require no skill at all. You just have to shock your opponent by placing that freeze at the right moment, and you can get that single tower that'll earn you a possible win in the end. So for those reasons, that's why freeze decks take the number 4 spot on our list. At number 3 are Electro Giant decks. Electro Giant in Season 23 is the standout card. All the balance changes that he's gotten make him one of the toughest win conditions in CR, and I would argue that he's overtuned even. A bit too strong because of his zapping counterattack. Yet, knowing this, a lot of players in Season 23 have decided to play E-Giant decks, whether on the ladder or in challenges, and facing off against him is so annoying. His zapping counterattack is unbelievably strong, and very few cards can actually counter him on their own. Only Barbs, Barb Hut, Sparky, and the P.E.K.K.A.s properly counter him by themselves. But more often than not, E-Giant decks are prepared to stop those counters, making him extremely hard for a lot of meta decks to defend against. I actually really like the Electro Giant. He's a super fun card to play, but that doesn't stop him from being a total pest on the battlefield. And for all those reasons, that's why Electro Giant decks take the number 3 spot on our list. At number 2 is Ebars Rage. Elite Barbarians have seen their share of balance changes over the years, but this latest iteration of the Ebarbs is showing up in so many decks in Season 23, and the one synergy that has remained in each iteration is Ebars Rage. Similar to the freeze decks, Ebars Rage depends on the element of surprise and catching your opponent off guard to be most effective.
Are you going trick-or-treating?
No, probably not.
Imagine obliterating someone not being enough, but then wanting to spit on them while they're down too. That's what it's like to face off against this deck. In all fairness, this might be the lowest win percentage deck on the list, but why it takes such a high spot is because when those Ebarbs do connect with the Rage, there's not a lot you can do about it without either losing health, elixir, or a tower. And so for all those reasons, that's why Ebars Rage takes the number 2 spot on our list. And taking the number 1 spot is Golem Night Witch Beatdown. Alright dude, let's be honest. This deck is just one of the worst things ever. It's good, it's strong, but I hate it so much. hate it. It's kind of like if somebody tied you down to a railroad track and you couldn't move as the train is barreling down the track, about to squish you like a bug. There's not much you can do, you're stuck, flailing, but that thing's still coming to destroy you. Even if you have some of the counters to Golem in your deck, like a tower or an Inferno Dragon, you're still gonna have to contend with those pesky spells or any of the other cards that synergize with it. The fact that Golem Night Witch Beatdown continues to blaze through the ladder despite being a deck that was made over 3 years ago is a testament to how strong it truly is. But that, of course, doesn't stop it from being one of the most annoying decks to face off against in all of Clash Royale. And so for all those reasons, that's why Golem Night Witch Beatdown takes the #1 spot on our list. So there you have it. What other decks do you think are the most annoying? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, I want to thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to leave us a like and hit subscribe for more weekly Supercell content. And we'll see you next week on Bailey's Dad. Peace.